Hey, so people, we're all doing well. So today, you know, whatever we talk in this channel for a while, it seems to be like more on the realm of spirituality, but it's not actually spirituality. I, in fact, wanted to empower you guys with, you know, with this knowledge so that you get better at your business, so that you can become good at this physical world, in this material world. That's the intention. And the only way you can get good at this physical world is through transcendence. Like, look at you, look at the whole mankind. The whole mankind is in search of something more than themselves. They are seeking self transcendence. They want to become something more than themselves, and they do not know it. And they want to become more than themselves. And when they try to become more than themselves, there is a huge conflict in that between who you are and between who they want to become, which is something bigger than themselves. And the self can't survive if you become something bigger than the self. So there is a conflict between the self and the desired self that you want to become. Like, there are certain flaws in the way the current society paradigm is looking at the world. The current paradigm of the society is entirely physical. It is physical oriented. It's like the desk is a desk, the tree is a tree, and the person is a person. And it believes the person is independent and the person has no influence on the tree and the tree has no influence on the person. It believes it's in independency and it believes nothing is interconnected with each other. But look at life. Look at the solar system. Look at the sun. The sun it looks like it's independent, but it has its own influence on the earth, and the earth has its influence on the moon, and the moon has influence on the sea, and the and the sea has influence on the weather, and the weather has influence on the person, right? So everything is interconnected. Nothing is independent. So the current paradigm of the society doesn't see as everything as interconnected. It sees as its own independency and it believes everything is physical in nature. But if you look at the quantum physics, when it sees the tree, it can see it has only the particles. When it sees the desk or a table under a microscope, it can see only the atoms interconnected at different geometries. And even in the atoms, it is like 80% space. So there is a conflict between the classical physics and the quantum physics. The classical physics believes everything is physical, and the quantum physics believes everything is like particles. And the quantum physics is always evolving, and it has, it is a new revolution in the field of physics, which people have to come to terms with, and they will. because they're understanding that you are not just the body, there is something beyond the body as well. And the other flaw in the society is like everything, they believe in duality, binary thinking. It's like you are either right or wrong. You are either good or bad. You are either God or evil. You are either scientific or religious. Either you are introverted or extroverted. Either you are spiritual or you are like a money guy. So it kind of identifies everything as dualism. I mean, like, that's the nature of mind. The way the mind can comprehend anything is through duality. It needs something to compare. Only then it can understand things. Like, for example, if I say the temperature of the room is like 356 purple degrees monkey Celsius. So what would you assume the temperature of my room? So you would be thinking like 356 means, is it under Fahrenheit or Celsius? Right? You would be thinking on that scale and trying to measure that number if it is hotter or colder. So your mind always searches for comparison, right? So it's always dualistic. And the current paradigm, I mean, the alchemist paradigm would be like the right way to look at this duality would be you will have to embrace these both things to transcend yourself. For example, if you are an introverted person, then the society labels you as an introverted person. And all your life, you will have to play the role of an introverted person. But deep down, you desire to be extroverted. And because your friends and your Facebook profile, everything says you're an introverted person, you're forced to play that role. And deep down, you're in conflict with yourself because you're not happy that you are introverted and you want to improve yourself and to become extroverted. And the Western society has always, on the search, they have a philosophy of knowing who they are. Like, who am I? They want to know who am I. And when they hit the answer that, oh, I'm an introvert, and they kind of get attached to that identity. And they wanted to become extroverted now. But since they are identified as introverted, they cannot be extroverted. So that is a very flawed way of thinking, a very binary way of thinking. It's like you can't become other than what you are. It's such a shitty way of thinking. The point of evolution is like you can become something else than who you are. Instead of thinking, who am I? If you embrace the philosophy of who am I becoming, then there is a possibility of evolving yourself, transcending from the self to something beautiful. By embracing the extrovertedness from introvertedness, you embrace the dark side of you and come into light and jump into a new paradigm and thus become a new self. That is how you evolve yourself, and that is how you change the experience of who you are, and that is how you become bigger and bigger than who you are and transcend yourself and become something bigger and bigger. And that is the only path of joy. It is only through pursuit of embracing your dark side and transcending yourself from who you think you are to becoming who you want to become is the solution. So, with that being said, hope it was informative, and thank you.